Hello everybody, my name is Sophie and welcome to my book nook. Happy New Year! How are you guys? I hope you're doing well. 2019 was really good for me. It didn't end great, but that's okay because now we're in 2020. It's a new year. Who knows what'll happen? Who knows what books I'll read? But one thing's for sure is I read a lot of books in 2019. 71. Well, actually there's two rereads, but there's like, specifically there's one book that I read twice in 2019, so. Almost all of the books I read were like 4 or 5 star books, so it was a very good reading year, and I want to tell you guys what my top 5 books of 2019 were. We're going to start with number 5, making our way to number 1. If you know me though, you can probably already guess what number 1 is. Also, as you can see, my Christmas tree is still here. It's not going anywhere for a while. I keep my Christmas tree up till like at least February, maybe March. It brings me joy, and it's beautiful. Alright, so top 5 books I've read in 2019. For number 5, we have The Whisper Man by Alex North. This book is fantastic. I love mysteries. I haven't read a lot of adult mysteries. This is like one of the first. This is an adult mystery, suspense, thriller type thing. Not horror, because I don't like horror, but it is definitely mystery, thriller, suspense, all those things. It was so good. So this book is about Tom Kennedy and his young son, Jake. A year ago, Tom lost his wife. Jake was the one who found her, and she's like dead on the floor, and that was totally like just accidental. Don't worry, she wasn't murdered, no. Anyway, they moved to this new town to start the healing process, to get away from the house where all those bad things happened. Little do they know in this town of Featherbank, a lot of stuff is going down. 20 years ago, a serial killer abducted and murdered 5 young boys. At last, the killer, Frank Carter, was caught and put behind bars. He was called the Whisper Man because all of the boys talked about hearing whispers outside their window before they were abducted. So as Tom and Jake are settling into their new lives, they don't know that just miles away, another young boy has gone missing and that he heard whispers at his window. Detectives Amanda Beck and Pete Willis are on the hunt for this killer, and there should be no reason for Tom or Jake to be involved until, that is, Jake starts hearing whispers at his window. This book is so well written. It's so well paced. It's so engaging. I didn't want to put it down. I needed to know what happened next. There are twists. There's like kind of a little bit of like magical realism, like just like a sprinkle. And I really like magical realism, so that was fantastic. It's just so good. There are just, the twists in here are absolutely fantastic. It's suspenseful enough where you're gonna be creeped out a little bit, but you probably won't get nightmares. At least that's how it was for me. And I love those types of things. Just freak me out enough where I'm still gonna sleep okay. It was so good. I would recommend this to anyone who likes anything that is mystery, suspense, or thriller. I guarantee you will like it. You will not like it. So please give it a try, because number 5 on my top 5 books of 2019. I don't have number 4 with me because I don't own a copy yet, but I will put it over here, and that would be Illuminae by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I love the characters in this book. Alright, so Katie Grant thought the worst thing that was ever going to happen to her was breaking up with Ezra Miller. That is, until her planet gets attacked by these 2 corporations who are at war. They have to flee. It's really bad. A lot of bad things happen. And it's like a space adventure while they're running away from this corporation that's trying to blow up their ship. Or, that should be all the problem is, except the AI system, Aiden, it's a little bit faulty. And it just leads to a whole mess of things. This book is so unique because it's written in like correspondence. There's IMs, there's like flight logs, there's transcriptions of like videos, there's maps, it's just all kinds of stuff. It's not written like a typical book, it's written like a dossier, and it's so cool. It came out a while ago, but I only just read it this year, and I wish I had read it sooner. Like, the whole series is already out, and I have yet to read it, and I need to. I need to read the rest of the series, because it's so good. I loved the writing for the most part. The only thing I didn't like is that in all of the IMs there's so much text talk, and I don't like text talk, so that's just my own thing. It's me. I love the characters. I love Aiden. I know that Aiden is like a robot, and like not even a robot, it's an AI. It's just sentience, but they're hilarious, and it's like they're questioning like, are they real, like their existence and all that, and it's just and so sarcastic. I love it. I love Aiden. I cried in this book. That's how much I loved it. It's so good. If you haven't read it yet, you probably have. Like, it's been out for a while, like I said. If you haven't read it yet, you need to. I'm telling you, you really should. If you like adventure, if you like just fun, hilarious, heart-wrenching, exciting stories, you should read Illuminae, please. Because after all, it's number 4 on my top 5 books of 2019. Also, obviously, all of these books I gave 5 stars. That's why they're on the top. Alright. Number 3, we have The Problem with Forever by Jennifer L. Armentrout. First of all, just look at this cover. Would you look at this cover? This is a gorgeous cover. It's so beautiful. I actually have a copy now. My library was getting rid of our copy because for some stupid reason, nobody was checking it out. Anyway, because they were getting rid of it, I got it. Yay. Anyway. This book is about Mallory Dodge. She grew up in a very bad foster home. While she was there, she lived with her foster brother, Ryder Stark. They both were foster kids. And eventually, they were able to get out of this foster home, and Mallory was adopted by 2 wonderful parents. Because of her time in the foster home, she had a lot of mental stuff to work through, and she was homeschooled for 4 years. For her final year of high school, she wanted to go back to high school. She wanted to be a senior. She wanted to have that experience. At this time, she didn't think she'd ever see Ryder Stark again. She thought he was gone and hopefully off living a wonderful life. But of course, who does she run into on her first day of school? None other than Ryder Stark, the boy who was her hero all of her childhood. And so that just leads to a whole bunch of stuff, and this book is so good, and it just it rips your heart out, it stomps on it, puts it back together again, and it's so good. I love these characters. I would die for Mallory and Ryder. I want them to have all of the best. I love the writing, I love the story, like the plot's really good. It just holds your attention the whole time. There's some twists in here, there's some things that I wasn't expecting, and I just love it. I love it so much. You guys need to read it. It's one of Jennifer L. Armentrout's standalone books, so it's just this. There's nothing more you have to read afterwards, which is nice. We all need a nice standalone from time to time. So I'm telling you, if you want to read a standalone, please just read this. If you just please, you will not regret it. It's just so good. Yeah, sure, there's some stereotypical YA stuff in this book, but like, it's different too. It tackles heavy things. Mental illness, abuse, all kinds of stuff. The fact there's homeschooling in here is what drew me in. Like, oh look, Mallory was homeschooled. I was homeschooled, like my entire life. So, I love this. I love this so much. I promise you that you will not regret reading it. It's so good. The cover is so beautiful. The writing is so beautiful. The characters have my whole heart. Number 2 is Frankly in Love by David Yoon. I won an ARC of this, and then I bought the book because look at these beautiful sprayed edges. It's gorgeous. Okay. Frankly in Love is about Frank Lee. He's Korean American, meaning his parents were from Korea and now they live in America. He was born in America though, so he's like, all he's ever known is America. When he's home, he lives in this Korean bubble that his parents have made for him. When he's at school, he's in the rest of the world with all the rest of the Americans. He's in the rest of the world with all the rest of the people who, are not trapped in the Korean bubble. His life's not too bad. He's got a pretty good life. His parents are pretty well off. He's got a good future. He's really smart. He goes to this crazy school where he has to do lots of math and crap. I don't know. I'm mumbling. Anyway, Frank's got one problem. His parents only want him to date other Koreans or Korean Americans. His parents are racist. That's just how it is. That's how they are. And Frank knows it. Frank doesn't like it. Because of it, Frank doesn't get to see his sister anymore. Because his sister moved away, fell in love with a black man, and married him, and his parents disowned her. It sucks. So, it's not very good when Frank falls for Britt Means, who is white. Instead of, telling his parents and seeing if maybe they'd understand, he decides to fake date his friend Joy, who also kind of needs to hide her boyfriend, who is, I believe, Chinese, from her Korean American parents. So, they do that. And then like all fake dating scenarios, it doesn't end like anyone plans. However, that fake dating thing, which is all they really tell you about in here, is only one small part of this book. There is so much more that I was not expecting, that I couldn't believe, and that I love so darn much. I first read this book, I first read the first 50 pages before I actually read the rest because I got it on Bookish first. I fell in love with Frank at the very beginning because his character is so great. His character is fantastic. It is wonderful. He is wonderful. The writing is so good. All of the characters are so good. This book made me cry. It made me feel so many things. It made me think about so many heavy topics. There's a lot of heavy topics covered in here. Racism is only one small part, and I don't really want to spoil the book because then it won't hit as well as it hit me. If I read this book again, I'd probably cry more now that I think about it, just because of stuff that's happened in the last few months. It's so good, you guys. If you want to know more about the stuff that happens in this book, I'd be happy to tell you. It is spoilers, though. But I'm sure that, if you wanted to find out, you could easily. Just some of the things I can see how would be troubling for some people who have experienced stuff like that. Because there is some very sad stuff in here. It's just... But it's so well done. It's so well written. David Yoon is fantastic. David Yoon is actually the husband of Nicola Yoon, who wrote Everything, and the son is also a star. They're amazing. They're both amazing. But this is David Yoon's debut. There is going to be a sequel, thank goodness, because I love Frank. I want to know that. I want to know more of his story. I want to see what happens next in his life. I can't say enough about this book, and I know I'm going to be talking about it in 2020. I hope you all will read it again. You guys, if you want to check out my review of it, I don't think I left... I know I just said a lot here about what I said in the review, but there might be more than I missed. But I'll put that up here so you can check that out if you want to. I don't know who's texting me. I need to find out how to mute my Apple Watch. So yeah, Frankly in Love, number 2 on my top 5 of 2019. Alright guys, and here we are at number 1, my number 1 read of 2019. Can you guess what it is? Because it should be pretty obvious. Dear Evan Hansen, the novel, by Val Emmich with Stephen Levinson, Benj Pasek, and Justin Paul. I started 2019 with Dear Evan Hansen, and I ended my year with Dear Evan Hansen. This was my first and last read of the year, because when I read it at the start of the year, and I loved it, and I had been saying all year that this is my favorite book of the year, and I wanted to be sure, so I wanted to end my year with this to be sure, and I am still sure. So, for all of you who are living under a rock and don't know, Dear Evan Hansen is a musical. and it is about Evan Hansen, who's very shy. He suffers from anxiety, some depression, but mostly anxiety. He has a hard time making friends. He doesn't really have any friends. He stays at home most of his time, and he doesn't really feel like he belongs. And over the summer, he worked at this park, Ellison State Park is what it's called, and he was a park ranger apprentice, and he learned a lot about trees and all that stuff, and he broke his arm because he climbed a tree, and then he fell, and he broke his arm. His first day back to school after summer break, his senior year, he's trying to be more outgoing and make new friends. So his mom suggests that he get people to sign his cast. Well, only one person does, and that is Connor Murphy. Connor's also an outcast. He's just a bit more scary, one could say. So that happens earlier in the day, and then later in the day, before school's over, Evan is in the computer lounge, whatever, writing his letter to himself to bring to his therapist, because that's what his therapist wanted him to do, to like get out his feelings and all that, is to write letters to himself. And the letters all start, "Dear Evan Hansen." So this letter that he's writing is one of the first that's very real, very raw, very true, and it talks about Zoe, his crush, who just so happens to be Connor's sister. And Connor finds the note, because he's also in the computer lab, and he brings it to Evan, and then he looks at it and he realizes what it is, and he's like, "What are you doing? Is this some kind of joke?" And he takes it, and then Evan starts freaking out that his life is over. He goes back to school the next day, and life's not over, but Connor Murphy's not there, and neither is Zoe. And the next day, Connor's not there, and neither is Zoe, and so Evan's still freaking out. He's wondering, when is this going to happen? When is he going to release this note? When is my life is going to be over? And then, I think, it's like the third day, he's called to the principal's office, and in the principal's office, there's Connor and Zoe's parents. And they tell Evan that Connor is dead, that he committed suicide, and that what they found with him is Evan's note. They don't know it's Evan's note, though. They think that it's Connor's suicide note, and that they think it's to Evan. And so they believe that Evan is his only friend. And Evan he tries to say that he isn't, but it doesn't work. And so now everyone thinks that Evan Hansen was Connor Murphy's only friend. And that's just the start of this story. And it's so well done. The musical is fantastic. I haven't seen it yet. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this is the year I'm going to see it. Jordan Fisher's playing Evan Hansen. I have to see it. I've been wanting to see Dear Evan Hansen for a while. Now I have to. You can't love this book without loving the musical. You could read the book without knowing the musical, but I don't think you're going to love it as much if you don't also love the musical, because while I'm reading this book, I hear the music in my head. I hear the songs playing in my head. I already had an attachment to the characters because I listened to the musical. So when I'm reading this and I'm getting the full story, more of the story, all of the thoughts from Evan and the parts from Connor, it's just more of that story of these characters that I already loved. And so I would highly suggest that you all need to go listen to the musical, and then you need to read this book, because it's just amazing, and it'll make you cry, and it'll make you feel deeply, and it'll make you realize that you are not alone, and that a lot of people go through hard times, but that those hard times are not the end. And if you just keep going, if you just let it all in, if you embrace all those things you're feeling, and you keep going, they will get better eventually. And that you're not alone, and that you will be found. We all will be found. If you haven't read a book yet this year, start with Dear Evan Hansen. It's a great way to start your year. My friend, the Bookish Badger, is starting her year with Dear Evan Hansen. I'm so happy. And if you already have read a book this year, read this at some point, or if you put it off and you put it off and you put it off, end your year with Dear Evan Hansen. It is a great way to end the year and to be prepared for the next one. I'm just begging you to read this. I don't care, like, I want you to read all of these books, but like if you would just listen to me about this one thing, just please read this book. That's all I'm asking. You don't have to read any other book I ever suggest, just read this, please. It's important. It's vitally important that you read this book. Dear Evan Hansen, the novel, my #1 book of 2019. Might be my #1 book of 2020 too, who knows? We'll see if anything can beat it. I plan on rereading this now every year. I think I'm going to end every year from now on with Dear Evan Hansen. Seems like a good thing to do. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know what you thought of my top 5 books of 2019. Let me know if you've read any of them. Let me know if you're going to now. I hope you will. And tell me what your top book of 2019 was, or top 3 or top 5, whatever. If you can't decide, it's okay. It's hard, I know. I'm very indecisive too. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like listening to me talk about books, subscribe to my channel because it's what I do. I also do unboxings and vlogs and all kinds of other stuff. And please follow me on Twitter at Sophie's Book Nook. In the event that I have to mark a video made for kids, you will need to be following me on there to be sure that you know that I made a video, and also to comment on Twitter about that video, because, you know, comments disabled for made for kid videos, whatever. Gotta love Kappa. And I think that is it, and I will see you guys really, really soon. Bye!